From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Picket lines could be going up again on Friday at Canada Post. The Crown Corporation has received 72-hour strike notice from the union representing 55,000 postal workers of plans to shut down operations starting at 12:01 Friday morning. It would be the second strike in 6 months. Canada Post spokesman John Hamilton tells CTV News Channel another disruption would deepen the company's already grave financial situation at a time when it needs to adjust its delivery model to the times.
The last one had a massive impact, hundreds of millions of dollars on Canada Post. That one came at Christmas. Another one would just be debilitating, and we're already losing $1 billion a year.
CUP W says there's still time to return to the table and stresses its goals remain new contracts. Palestinian health officials say new Israeli strikes overnight have killed at least 60 people across the Gaza Strip. The death toll comes as Israel has launched another major offensive in recent days. The first few aid trucks entered Gaza yesterday, following nearly 3 months of Israel's complete blockade of aid. That's as Israel acknowledges growing pressure from allies, including Canada. Canada, the UK, and France criticized Israel's decision to allow just minimal aid in and are threatening concrete actions, including sanctions, for its stepped-up attacks. Top finance officials from G-7 countries are in Banff, Alberta this week for meetings on the global economy, artificial intelligence, and the war in Ukraine.
This gathering in Banff is a precursor to next month's G7 Leader Summit in nearby Kananaskis, also in Alberta. Federal Finance Minister François-Philippe Champagne and Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem will lead the meeting scheduled for Wednesday and Thursday. David Bowles, The Canadian Press.
A member of Canada's 2018 World Junior Hockey team is set to continue testifying today at the sexual assault trial of 5 of his ex-teammates. Tyler Steenbergen began testifying by video conference last week at the London, Ontario trial. He's expected to face more cross-examination from defense lawyers today. The jury hearing the case was abruptly discharged on Friday, and the trial is continuing on now with a judge alone. And U.S. President Donald Trump spoke candidly about former President Joe Biden's prostate cancer diagnosis, suggesting the timeline of the illness should be investigated. Reporter Nicole D'Antonio has more.
President Trump called Biden's cancer diagnosis sad while appearing to cast doubt on Biden's doctors.
Maybe it was the same doctor and somebody is not telling the facts. That's a big problem.
Biden's team said doctors diagnosed him Friday with an aggressive form of prostate cancer and say the cancer had spread to the bones. President Trump now suggesting without evidence that the announcement was delayed.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, the defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, fresh off Sunday's crushing Game 7 victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs, will open the NHL Eastern Conference Championship Series tonight against the host Carolina Hurricanes in Raleigh. The Edmonton Oilers begin their Western Conference Championship Series tomorrow night against the host Dallas Stars. Canada will play unbeaten co-host Sweden today as preliminary round action wraps up at the World Men's Hockey Championship in Stockholm. Canada lost in a shootout yesterday to Finland. At the Professional Women's Hockey League final, the Ottawa Charge will host the defending Walter Cup champion Minnesota Frost tonight in the opening game of their best-of-5 series. The Toronto Blue Jays, 2 games below 500, open a 3-game series tonight at home against the San Diego Padres. And in basketball, Canadian star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Oklahoma City Thunder will host the Minnesota Timberwolves in the opening game of the NBA Western Conference Finals. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.